Hello everybody, welcome back. Today I want to talk to you about desire. Now we've explored this concept on numerous occasions. We've talked about it on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We've talked about it from the context of the Bhagavad Gita, from the context of manifestation. And today I kind of want to bring those two thought processes together and sort of help you navigate what it means to desire something, what happens to you, and sort of how to overcome that. And I think with desire, right, especially with the Bhagavad Gita, there's this thought process where it's like, I'm not supposed to desire anything. I'm not supposed to desire anything at all. And I think that if I do desire something, I'm going to land back into this samsara, into this life cycle again. And it can be a very complicated, nuanced thing, especially when we're dealing with new age concepts like manifestation, law of attraction, law of assumption, where they are asking you to pinpoint your desire very eloquently and claim your desire, right? So how do you reconcile both of these thought processes? But I want to kind of take a step back first and understand, when you desire something, what does that really mean? You're acknowledging the lack of it, right? And when you acknowledge the lack of something, two things happen: fear, anxiety, anger, right? I never get what I want. I'm always the one who gets, the short end of the stick, and we start to get angry and we start to get frustrated. And that can be a very helpful thing, because it can help you go and get your desire. It can kind of bring the gas to the engine, right? To sort of propel you towards that desire. So we're not going to necessarily talk about the utility of these emotions, but just to give some context, if you don't get your desire, you might feel angry. You might feel anxious, like, oh, why am I not getting it yet? Like, where is it? Where is it? And you might be in this stage of waiting. I know we talk about that, especially in the manifestation community, where there's this waiting period, right? When you're saying your affirmations, you're doing your meditations, you're doing your visualizations, and you're in this period of oh my God, it's not here yet. Where is it? And you're looking to the external world for validation that you're on the right path, or for validation that you're doing the right things, and validation that you're going to get what you want. And when you do have that anxiety, a little bit of lack of faith sort of comes up as well. And I think arguably lack of faith comes up for all three of these emotions. And then there's just outright fear, right? Scared. What does this mean for you if you don't get your desire? How much of a failure am I going to become, right? And I think we can take any number of desires and talk about that, but let's talk about love today. It is the ultimate sort of deterrence of any sort of negativity. And it's interesting that love, what we think is love, right? Romantic love, friendship love, community love, is far different from the love from source, from Bhagavan. And I think that this unconditional love, or this love that's ever pervading, is much different from the sort of transactional love that we see in society. So I enjoy talking about love for that reason, because I think it demonstrates exactly the differences between your spiritual path, your material path, and how those can kind of converge as you go down your spiritual path. So with desire, I think the thing to remember here is that when you desire something, you are acknowledging the lack of it. And when you acknowledge the lack of something, it's a very powerful feeling. I want to feel seen. I want to feel heard. I want to be loved. I want to be validated. I am not being validated. I am not loved. I am not seen. I'm not heard. Right? That's what those are essentially the same things. Yes, you can say oh, I want to be loved from that person. I can acknowledge that I'm loved from my parents. I can acknowledge that I'm loved from my friends, but I'm not loved by him. I can understand that I'm understood by my friends. I can understand that I'm understood by my parents, but I'm not loved or understood by her. Right? And we want this thing from a specific person because it will help complete us. And I think when we talk about desire as a whole, we often neglect the actual path of obtaining that desire. And listen, I understand how discombobulating it can feel when you're reading the Bhagavad Gita, or you're going down this more religious path, and you're being told to relinquish all your desires. Right? I've made videos about that, talking about, chapter 2, relinquish your desire, do your duty, relinquish your desire. But what is the pathway of getting your desire? letting it go. When you let something go, it comes to you. And not letting go for the sake of it coming to you, but truly letting go. Truly letting go of your desire will allow you to become a magnet for it. Why is that? What is the actual energetic, mathematics behind that? What is the actual formula there? Let's do it in the analogy of love, right? Let's say that you are feeling a lack of love from either a person, community, or just in general. What can you do to start to embody those feelings of love? The first thing that you can do is start to identify why you don't feel loved. And your brain will give you tons and tons of examples, right? Say the affirmation, I am loved. Say it right now. Did anything come up for you that proved or denied that statement? Write those down. I am loved because blank. I am not loved because blank. We can use a different affirmation. I am seen. Repeat it back to yourself. Did anything come up that either proves or denies that statement? I am heard. I am respected. I feel validated. I'm calm. I'm patient. I'm kind. Did anything come up for you that either proves or denies those statements? Write them all down. Pick the one that kind of resonates with you the most, and do this exercise for yourself as well, and make it relatable to you, right? Those are the ones that are most common. Oh, the big one is I am enough. That's a big one. I am enough. I am good enough. What proves or denies that statement? Now, those are your memories. Those are your subconscious belief stories, right? Everything can be linked back to the subconscious mind. Our brain stores everything that occurs. And sometimes I feel that we can even go back into our past lives with our mind through meditation. Given the right trigger, we can go down the past lives too. So what does our mind really store? Everything. We talk about the cyclical natures of the mind. It stores our judgment, misjudgment. It stores our dreams, our imaginations, right? Our memories. So we have the ability to go back into our mind, and we also have the ability to rewrite what has happened in our life. Okay? I'm going to give you a little story. So let's take me, a child, right? Born and raised in the suburbs of Chicago. And, I, at the time, did not have a lot of Indian students around me. And so naturally, I got bullied, right? For the way I dressed, the way that I looked, what have you. Now, today, I can have this feeling of I am not good looking, or I am not funny, or I am not appreciated by my community. And when I go into my mind, I can be like, wow, actually there were a lot of situations when I was younger where that statement proved to be true. I wasn't loved in 6th grade by that one girl that used to bully me. I didn't feel appreciated by her. I didn't feel appreciated by, my class. And I could think about what in my life made me feel like I wasn't appreciated? What in my life allowed me to feel like I wasn't good enough? And our brain does an excellent job of reminding us every day why we are not good enough. So write down those stories that come up. I would start the page with the affirmation. I am enough. I am loved. I am seen. I am heard. And then write down a list of all of the reasons why in your brain those are not true. On the next page, flip it over, pick one of those stories and write it out. Purge it all out. Write it out on the page. What exactly happened that day? Did an ex tell you that you weren't good enough? Did your parents tell you that you weren't smart enough? Did your boss tell you that you never do good work? Pick a situation. Then on the following page, I want you to write that exact same story, but with the outcome of your affirmation. So if the bully, for example, in 6th grade, started to feel like she made you feel really small, really less than, whatever, instead write the story of that girl was so kind to me. That girl showed me unconditional love. That girl was so sweet to me. That girl did a lot for me. Now, this exercise is not meant for you to change your past. We don't have the power to go back in time and change the events that occurred. But what we can do is start to change the neural pathways in our brain that signal, I'm not seen, I'm not heard, I'm not enough. When we go back into our past memories and we start to rewrite them or start to sort of forgive or form different associations with them, we won't find a reason as to why that story is still relevant to today. What does that do? That changes the filter. It changes the filter. It changes the filter from I'm never seen to I am seen. Or I've never been loved to wait, I am loved. So if you're not convinced by the scripting and by the rewriting of our past memories, I'll give you another example of how you can overcome these desires. And when I say overcome these desires, I don't want you to automatically assume that I'm saying that you're not going to get your desire. What I'm trying to tell you is that you can get your desire and then some. You can gain spiritual freedom. You can gain ultimate happiness. You can gain the ability to not want. You can gain the ability to not be in this waiting stage of desire anymore. So, allow me to paint you another example. Let's say that you're going about your day and you feel like you are not loved. Okay, I am not loved because my ex and I broke up, or I am not loved because my friend and I of many years don't speak anymore. I am not loved because my parents and I don't have a great relationship. Whatever the case is for you, you can look out into your life, you can go outside, and you can show the world love. You can show the people that you have in your life love. When you give the thing that you feel like you lack, it will come back to you tenfold. Oftentimes, we think that our desires are outside of us, and that is simply not the case. Our desires are all within us. What we actually crave is just the energetic confirmation that what we have is what we actually want, and what we want is what we have. We just want the feeling. What is the baseline feeling? If you are insisting, no, Jenny, you're wrong, I just want to be in a relationship. Nope, I just want a car. Nope, I just want a house. Okay, what is that house going to give you? Security? A sense of satisfaction? What is that relationship going to give you? Feeling of love? Feeling of satisfaction? Feeling of security? Why can't we just say, I am secure, I am loved, I'm safe? Right? And again, the way that you get what you want is by letting go of it. And by letting go of it, you become it. How do you become it? You give it. And that is the way you get what you want. And the thing is, when you're in service of your community, your desires become less important to you because you already have what it is that you want. Again, we think that we want the car, we think that we want the house, we think that we want the relationship, we think we want success, but what we really want is the underlying feelings of it. So I urge you, it's not again to say don't buy the house, it's not to say don't get the relationship, don't have a car. We still have to engage in this world. My dad always reminds us in Bhagavad Gita class how important it is to engage with this world. No one is asking you to sit under a tree and not have any desires at all. That's not the intention of this message. The intention of this message is to say that you have the ability to obtain what it is that you want just by feeling it within yourself. And you can start with baby steps. You heal your mind. You heal your memories. You allow them to rest. You allow your mind to rest. You give permission to your mind to calm down and not to remind you of all the reasons why you are not loved, seen, heard, validated, good enough, right? And the way that you actually do that is by becoming the thing that you so desire. We have a long way to go when it comes to our spiritual journey. And when we talk about relinquishing desire, people start to get scared. People start to get like, oh no, are you telling me that I can't want the thing that I want? No, actually, it's the opposite. You can get everything that you're asking for and then some. But it's just about understanding what those desires mean to you and why you want them and why you think you lack it in the first place. I think when people start to say like, oh, I'm not feeling loved, I'm not feeling wanted, it's usually because they're not feeling wanted or loved from that particular person, scenario, situation. When in reality, there's love and openness and kindness everywhere and within us. We are capable of these things. Whatever, you guys have said a lot of really nice things to me in the comments. You guys have said some really kind words to me. But whatever you see in me is what's in you. I'm merely a mirror of how you feel. So if you find me to be knowledgeable, it's because there's something within you that is very knowledgeable. We only see what we are, right? And so our reflections of the world, the way that we interact with the world, is a direct reflection of how we see ourselves. And I think that that's the most important thing here, is just to acknowledge the way I see myself is the way that I'm going to interact with everyone. And as long as I see myself as somebody who's worthy of love, who's worthy of affection, who's worthy of validation, who's worthy of being seen, heard, appreciated, will I then be able to receive that from someone else and again give it back tenfold? What is the point of any of this? To help society, to help the world. I saw something the other day, and this is kind of in reference to the election tomorrow. And it was basically saying, like, I don't want to live in a world where everyone is so divisive. We as humans, especially in America, I'm not sure what it's like in other countries, but what it feels like in America right now is that we're all constantly against each other. We can't agree on anything, right? I'm afraid of saying my truly, some of my political stances here on social media, because it's scary. It's a scary world right now. Let's not continue that for our children. Let's have a little bit more openness and kindness and acceptance for each other. How are we going to get there? By feeling it within, truly within, not just to say it, not just for this little video, but to truly feel that way. It's a hard journey. I am not going to make it seem like it's some easy thing that you can just wake up one day and feel like the open source of love and kindness, but it's possible. I've seen it in my own self. I've seen it in other people. I've witnessed some people's incredible spiritual journey, and it is hopeful, It's hopeful to see that this world out here can become a nicer place so long as we are contributing to that. So I encourage you, it's not about relinquishing your desire so that you get it. It's not about relinquishing your desire because desires are bad. It's about getting your desires so that you can go ahead and become that productive member of society and continuously help more and more people. That's what it's all about. You guys are helping me feel loved, seen, and heard. But the only reason why I can turn on this camera today is because I deserve to feel loved, seen, and heard, and I know that within myself. I would not have the courage to turn this camera on had I not innately believed that I was deserving of being seen, right? So understand what's happening here. Understand the energetic interactions that we have, the connectivity among us, right? It's all very, very tangible. So I hope this helped. Sending much love to you and peace to you during this very turbulent time. I hope you take my journal exercises seriously, and I hope you actually do them. Report back on your findings. Love you.